All right, 7th, 8th Latin. I was hoping to have a slideshow for you today, but I've had some problems with another class, so we're just going to do this video here. So if you would take your book, please, and turn to page 153, as we talk about chapter 21. And let's just review the present tense of sum, which means I am. And if you want to look at that, that is, oops, sorry here. That is in chapter 7. So chapter 7, so that's page 45. So repeat after me, sum est, sumus estis sunt. Sum est, sumus estis sunt. Sum I am, es you are, est he she it is, sumus we are, estis y'all are, sunt they are. So again, that's the present tense form of the verb to be, sum est, sumus estis sunt. So what we're learning today is the imperfect form. Now, if you know your imperfect verbs, right, you take the word amo, I love, you turn it into the imperfect form, it's I was loving. So you use a past tense helping verb, and you add ing. So amo becomes amabam, amas becomes amabas, and something similar is happening here, except that you can't really say I was being, right? So the imperfect form is just I was, you were, he, she, it was. Okay. But first of all, let's learn the chant here on page 153. Make sure you've got 153 and repeat after me. Aram aras arat, aramas aratus arant. Aram aras arat, aramas aratus arant. Aram I was, Eras you were, Erat he she it was, Eramus we were, Eratus y'all were, Erant they were. So unlike sum, where you sometimes have an S that begins it, or sometimes you have an E, these are E's all the way through, right? Eram, eras, erat, eramus, eratus, erant. All right? And then we have some new vocabulary. I did get a chance to grade your vocabulary quizzes. You guys need to put more study time in for that in the future. But anyway, we have some verbs and we have some adjectives. The verbs are all second conjugation. You know they're second conjugation because the second principal part has a long ERE instead of the long ARE of the first conjugation part. Okay? So audeo, audere, ausis sum. So this actually has no third principal part. Audeo, audere, ausis sum. So can anybody think of an English word we get from audeo? Well, audacious, right? If you have audacity, you got a lot of audacity for doing that. You're daring, right? You're audacious. You're kind of outspoken, or you're kind of risky. Lugeo, lugere, luxi, luctum. I grieve, to grieve, I grieved, grieve. Moneo, monere, monui, monitum. I warn, to warn, I warned, warned. Now, we get the English word admonish from this. So when you admonish someone, you're warning them, hey, don't do that. That's not good for you. look both ways when you cross the street. Moneo, I admonish you. Maneo, manere, mansi, mansum. And again, just like paro, parare, paravi, paratus comes directly in our language as prepare. We just put the prefix pre onto the word paro. The same thing's happening here with maneo. It comes directly into English. Remain, we just add the prefix re, and that's how we get maneo, manere. Chainseo, chainsere, chainsui, chainsum. Say that. Chainseo, chainsere, chainsui, chainsum. Does anybody know what happened this year that happens every 10 years in our country? Well, your parents had to fill out a form called the census, and that comes from chainseo, I estimate. We use that to estimate how many people, or to count how many people live in the United States of America. So that is chainseo, I estimate, to estimate. Now you can see here the remaining vocabulary are adjectives. Can anybody remind us why you've got paratus, parata, paratum? Why do you have three different endings for these adjectives? It is because they have three different genders. You have to have an adjective match the gender, number, and case of the noun. And so you've got masculine nouns, so you'd have to have a masculine adjective, okay? Vir paratus, the prepared man. You have feminine nouns, so you have to have a feminine adjective. Femina parata, the prepared woman. You have neuter nouns, and so you have to have neuter adjectives. Templum paratum, the prepared temple. Okay, so that's why you have these three different endings. Paratus, parata, paratum. Carus, cara, carum. Longus, longa, longum. Dignus, digna, dignum. Of course, we get the word dignity from that, right? Clarus, clara, clarum. So an English word we get is clarity, right? If you speak with clarity, you're speaking clearly, you're speaking in a way that you can be understood. All right, if you guys want to stop here and do the chapter story, I know we haven't done this in a while, but getting back to the story of these two kids, Julia and Marcus, you could do that. And then we can come back, excuse me, to the grammar lesson here. And we're talking about the tense, the imperfect tense. And so this is a fairly short lesson here, but it basically is just talking about the fact that imperfect is past tense. It happens something before now, okay? Latin has no past tense like we do. The past tenses are the imperfect, the perfect, and the pluperfect. But again, the imperfect here just simply means I was, you were, he was, okay? So who can tell us what sum magister means? It means I am a teacher. Eram magister would be something in the past. I was a teacher. Or eram dominus, I was a master. Eram domina, for you ladies, I was a mistress. All right, now picking up on what we learned in lesson 20 on page 148, where we talked about sentences having a subject, a direct object, and a verb. That's the order you would have them in Latin, right? English, we would do the subject, the verb, and the direct object. Latin, you put the direct object between the subject and the verb. But anyway, they just want to let you know that there's a new sentence pattern here. Pattern A is just simply the subject and the verb. That goes way back to the beginning of last year. Sentence pattern B is a linking verb, right? The man is a teacher. The student is a boy. The girl is a daughter. The girl is a sister, right? Puella est Germana. The boy is a brother. Puer est Germanus. And then sentence pattern C, I don't know how much we've talked about that, but instead of having a linking verb with a predicate noun, you have it with a predicate adjective. So the boy is good. The boy is tall. The man is prepared. The sister is prepared. The sister is worthy. Germana est digna, D-I-G-N-A. The man is worthy. Vir est dignus. Okay. Now we're adding this sentence pattern B. And that is where we take sentence pattern A and we stick a direct object between the subject and the transitive verb, the verb that has action, that transfers to something else. Okay. And the direct object is always going to be what case? The accusative case, right? The subject will be the nominative case. The direct object will be the accusative case. So this example here, vir feminam amat. Which noun is in the nominative case? Who can tell us? It is the noun vir. And which noun is in the accusative case? It is the noun feminam. And then amat is the transitive verb, the verb transitive. Now, as you work through this worksheet here on page 157, you're going to have some verbs, and I want you to realize that in the translation, they're not just going to be first person, singular, present tense verb. I sail, let's go back and look at these verbs. They're not just going to be I dare, I grieve, I warn. They're putting different endings on here because they're expecting you now to know present tense, imperfect tense, future tense, first person singular, third person plural, okay? So you have to look at these. So I'll do one here with you. How about number 5, manes. Manes, that comes from the verb, new verb, meneo. Meneo means I remain, right? This comes directly into English. I remain, but manes, let's parse it. Okay, let's parse it. Parse means to put it into parts. And with a verb, the parts are person, first, second, third, number, singular, plural, and tense, present, imperfect, and future. So who can tell us the parts, person, number, tense for manes? All right, so the person is second person, right? You or you plural, you or ye in King James language. The number is singular, so it's you singular. The tense is present tense, right? It's not manebas, it's not manebis, it's menes. So it's present tense. It doesn't have the bo or the b, the ba, excuse me. It doesn't have the ba or the bi. So it's present tense. So how would you translate menes? Second person singular present tense. You remain, right? If it was third person, he remains. If it was third person imperfect, he was remaining. Okay? So as you do this, you just need to realize that not all of these are going to be first person, singular, presence. They're not all going to be I am, whatever it is. It may be we, it may be we were, it may be they were. Okay? Then you have to write out the Ramarasarat grammar. What is a direct object? What case would it be in Latin? What is a transitive verb? Okay. And then you got a little bit of translation work here where you need to parse. And again, they want you to parse every noun, every verb. Okay. So in number one, you're going to parse vir, you're going to parse filium, you're going to parse monet. Number two, you're going to parse dominus, you're going to parse erat, and you're going to parse dignus. And it would be helpful, for you to label which sentence pattern is it. Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay. All right. And then I want you to be prepared for if you look at number 159, be prepared for a vocabulary quiz on Friday, excuse me. So again, do 157 for your homework and be prepared for a vocabulary quiz from 159 on Thursday. So I'll let you stop the video right now and you can work on your homework. You can drill with each other on the new vocabulary, and you can show your homework assignment